All right, guys, what's up? What's up? What's up? Happy Sunday. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles, the DB Talking Now podcast. Happy Sunday, everyone. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Obviously, last night's game, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Dallas Cowboys, sort of went as planned. The Cowboys won 51-26. They really broke it open in the third quarter there, but the Eagles backups kind of went toe to toe with the Cowboys straight up until the third quarter, and I thought it was quite funny how the Cowboys fans were celebrating all way too much. Just they played their starters the entire time. And they were going against the Eagles backups the entire time, with the exception, obviously, we put Kelsey in there for one play so that he could keep his Iron Man streak going. We put Devontae Smith in there for a long enough time so that he can break Deshaun Jackson's record. Toxic Falcons, welcome to the chat today, my man. How you doing? Happy Sunday, my friend. And one thing that I heard constantly throughout the chat boards yesterday during the game is Cowboys fans saying that the Philadelphia Eagles have never beaten a winning team with a winning record this season. And some of the Eagles fans, surprisingly, some of the Eagles fans didn't know how to back this up. Let me just break this down for you. The Eagles have beaten teams with a winning record this season. Lo and behold, the New Orleans Saints were 5-4 and had the number one rush defense when we ran all over them and beat them. So did the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos had a pretty decent defense. The week before, they put a beating on the Cowboys, and they were also 5-4 the week that we beat them. So let me just throw those two things out there. So those are two teams with a winning record that the Philadelphia Eagles have beaten this season. Toxic Falcons says Dallas got the nerve to talk going against backups. Yeah, it was pretty sad. Some of the things that I did see from last night's game is the Philadelphia Eagles backups played with a lot of heart. They played with a lot of energy. They played with a lot of urgency. That is one of the things that I did see, that I did like, and that I did notice, and I thought that was really, really impressive. I gotta tell you this. I'm not surprised about the day that Kenny Gainwell had. One, because Kenny Gainwell is a running back, a rookie running back that I'm really excited about moving forward. So Kenny Gainwell obviously really impressed. He did a phenomenal job. I was, however, really impressed with running back Jason Huntley. Jason Huntley got some playing time in last night's game, and he's a lot quicker than I thought he was, and did a phenomenal job on his runs against the Dallas Cowboys defense. Toxic Falcon says ready for the Falcon season to be done with. Yeah, it looks like the Saints are putting a beating on you guys right now. Let me get back to that game. Yeah, the Saints are up on you guys in the third quarter with about 6.5 left to go. 24-26, New Orleans is winning. It's crazy that, and I do want to get into this too, that actually if the Saints game holds up, and the Rams game, if those two teams hold up and continue to lead and continue to win those games, the Philadelphia Eagles will not be the 7th seed. They will be the 6th seed in the playoffs. So it's a cherry on top of a rookie season for head coach Nick Sirianni, and then we would be facing the third seed, obviously the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because as of right now, the Rams are going to be the 2nd seed. So, it's a lot of people want to question, like, well, who's going to be the better matchup for the Philadelphia Eagles going into the playoffs, into the wild card round? Is it going to be the Rams? Is it going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? What do you think? Let me know, guys, what you think. Who is the better matchup for the Philadelphia Eagles in this wild card round? A lot of people think it's going to be Tom Brady and the Buccaneers because they're hurt. They're a little down and out, but it is still the GOAT. It is still TB12. So Me personally, as I think that we would be able to control the clock against the Rams, and I think we could probably control the clock against the Rams and the Buccaneers, honestly, but um, from a defensive standpoint is what I'm talking about. Who do you think we would have a better shot against? So, let me know what you guys think in the live chat here as we continue to talk about this, guys. One important thing that I really want to get to that just makes me laugh, chuckle, and kind of feel bad at the end of the day, honestly. The Indianapolis Colts ended up losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars today and missed out on a playoff berth. Carson Wentz choked the season away, giving the Eagles a better first-round draft pick. It's going to be pick 18 at worst. So at worst, it's going to be pick 18 from the Indianapolis Colts in the first round because of the fact that the Indianapolis Colts missed the playoffs by losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars today. Not sure how you screw that up. Carson Wentz really did choke the season away for the Colts. He went, I think it was 9 for 20 today with 100 yards, 0 touchdowns, and an interception and a fumble, and was sacked 6 times. So just complete embarrassment for the former Eagles quarterback, Mr. Carson Wentz. But hey, I'm not too upset about it. Because we have a better first round pick. Just as I'm not upset about last night's game. Look, I think it's kind of sad. I want to bring this back around to the Cowboys real quick. I think it's kind of sad that the Cowboys fans, they started to talk shit. They started to pretend that their starters weren't actually playing. And it's kind of funny. It's like, well, DeMarcus Lawrence is in there. Randy Gregory is in there. Kyle Van Der Esch is in there. Dak Prescott is in there. Ezekiel Elliott is in there. What are you talking about? Your starters aren't playing. So Dak Prescott can be excited for 5 touchdowns all he wants. You went up against guys like Zeke McPherson, Tay Gowan, Kerry Vincent III, and we had our backups. We had our backup safeties in there, Shashere and Kayvon Wallace. That's the thing too, is none of our starters were playing. Absolutely none of them. You know who really impressed me though last night, who really got in the face of Dak Prescott? Milton Williams, rookie 3rd round pick, Milton Williams, which inadvertently was the pick that came from the Colts. That went in the Carson Wentz trade. So if you want to look at that trade from a complete picture, we got the 1st round pick from the Colts for Carson Wentz, and we also inadvertently got defensive tackle Milton Williams, who has actually played pretty well as a rotational DT for the Eagles this season as a rookie. So not too unimpressed with his performance. He's done a decent job. But I saw a team with fight, urgency, and I cannot wait. To. And if we were seeing that from the backups, I cannot wait to see what the starters will do. Against whoever they're going to face next week, whether it's going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or whether it's going to be the Los Angeles Rams. I'm going to be completely excited and ready to go for that game. Toxic Falcon says Colts ass. Yes, indeed a Rooney. Some other info that I want to get into, some other news and notes. Head coach Vic Fangio was fired from the Denver Broncos. And so kind of an interesting nugget is, there have been rumors and reports that Mike Zimmer was going to get fired from the Minnesota Vikings this season. And I kind of read something. It's like, when Jonathan Gannon is hired as head coach for the Minnesota Vikings, the Eagles should take a look at Vic Fangio for defensive coordinator. I would be totally down for that. Vic Fangio is a good defensive mind, and bringing him in as a defensive coordinator would be fine. The only thing I worry about in those situations, obviously, is the fact that the defense just got used to a new scheme. They just got used to a new scheme, and And Jonathan Gannon hasn't done bad. He plays soft. There are things that we do not like about his scheme, but what does that mean when when a new guy comes in? It's like that's the last thing you want is you don't want a new guy to come in year out and shabby dabby doo da. But this goes ahead and speaks to what I've been saying all season long. Don't hire defensive coordinators as your head coach. It usually doesn't work out. Talks Falcon says he was 17-30. He needed to be fired. Absolutely. No, I completely agree. I do agree that Vic Fangio deserved to be fired, and that kind of brings it back to Joe Judge, doesn't it? I just can't get that guy out of my head until he's actually fired. But the more that the Giants keep him on, the better it is for the Philadelphia Eagles. So who cares? But here's the thing: is Vic Fangio is a good defensive mind, and I would trust Vic Fangio to run my defense if I owned the Philadelphia Eagles. That's for sure. But here's the thing: is I think that if the Philadelphia Eagles can keep Jonathan Gannon from a head coaching position, which there have been rumors, there have been reports that he is being sought out after for the head coaching position, then I think if they can keep him, it would be better for the long haul. They need consistency. This team needs consistency. If they go in and they get somebody else to run the defense, it's going to kind of change our outlook on the draft. We kind of know what Jonathan Gannon wants going into the season. Obviously, Jonathan Gannon needs more guys who can rush the passer. Jonathan Gannon runs a 3-3 defense. He also has been putting 5 down on the line. So there are things about Jonathan Gannon and his schemes that I personally like. Can he draw up some more blitzes? Yeah, he'd probably draw up some more blitzes, but he also needs the personnel and the players to do that. And that's where if we were to go ahead and get rid of Jonathan Gannon, it would throw my draft outlook out the window completely until we absolutely knew what Vic Fangio would want. Toxic Falcon says Panthers should have fired Matt Rule. Well, here's the thing about Matt Rule is I do know that I did see a report that they were regretting the contract that they gave him. That's for damn sure. That is for damn sure. So who knows what they decide to do. I also saw, guys, just jumping into other reports, just other random reports around the league, is I did see something out of Houston today that the Houston Texans are focused on trying to get Deshaun Watson traded before the March 16th free agency period. So getting back to some of these games, obviously San Fran has tied it up with the LA Rams 17-17. So there is that. Wow. San Francisco 49ers have tied it up with the Los Angeles Rams 17-17 with about 13 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Tampa Bay currently has the ball in the third quarter, and they're leading Carolina 17-10. And Arizona has come storming back over the Seattle Seahawks, making it 24-17. I'll tell you what, if San Francisco can beat Los Angeles and Arizona can maintain their lead against the Seattle Seahawks, well done by Arizona. Well done by Arizona. Toxic Falcon says, I heard the Bill O'Brien was getting looked at by the Jags. Yeah, I heard that too. Here's the thing. I mean, Bill O'Brien, look, that's what happens. That's what happens when you go to Alabama, right? That's what happens when you go to Alabama. It's a coach's resurrection destination, if you will. I don't think it's a good idea. Honestly, I don't think it's a good idea to I mean, you can look at him, sure. Here's the thing. They should hire Kellen Moore. They should hire Kellen Moore. I think me mentioning Doug Peterson before for that position is a little bit of bias. I would like to see Doug kind of resurrect his head coaching career. But I think the smart move, and just in terms of the smart move in terms of skill set and trend and trajectory, positive trajectory. I mean, the resume that jumps off the page is Kellen Moore's. Honestly, the work that he's done with the Dallas Cowboys offense over the last few years or so really speaks volumes. He's young. And so that's kind of the trend that the NFL is going in, is hiring these young guys as head coaches. Obviously, as we know, Nick Sirianni is one of those guys. Sean McVay is one of those guys. Cliff Kingsbury is another one of those guys. So in my opinion, if I were the Jacksonville Jaguars, I would probably my strongest consideration would probably be directed toward Kellen Moore for definitely. I don't think you should look. Here's the thing about Bill O'Brien. And this is something that the Jacksonville Jaguars should really take into account. He's an old school. He's kind of an old school coach, with a lot of experience. So he's going to bring in the ways that he thinks that he knows works. Whereas some of these younger guys, they're more open to new, innovative ideas. And with the Jacksonville Jaguars, what did we just see? Like, take away from the fact that Urban Meyer is a complete jackass and asshole. But he is one of those guys who has enough experience, and he is one of those guys who says, "Nah, my way is the right way," regardless of what others might say, or regardless of what the results are. So my point is maybe they should take a look at a new, innovative, younger head coach, not Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien didn't really have that much success in the NFL anyway, so there's that. There is that. But I do think it's going to be interesting to see whether or not who they go with. I think it's going to be interesting because it's going to be really important. It's going to be really important this is a really important decision for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the reason why is because this is all about Trevor Lawrence. This is all about Trevor Lawrence. The entire head coaching search is about Trevor Lawrence. Look, you had a guy who had a trajectory, whose comparison was to the second coming, right, of the GOAT. I didn't agree with that. I wanted to see what he could do first, and you hired Urban Meyer, who just said, he didn't really focus. He didn't really focus on the development of the quarterback. So, Toxic Falcon says, don't the Eagles have the 19th, 17th, 16th pick in the draft? Well, it's going to depend on what happens today, the rest of the way. Obviously, so as far as the Colts pick, I don't know off the top of my head what it actually is going to be. But as far as the Colts pick, that's going to be 18 at worst. But I think talk about a complete crazy thing, right? Just absolutely crazy. The Miami Dolphins, they started off 0-7, right? Didn't they? Or 1-7, and then they won 7 straight. And then the Eagles started off 2-5 and were 3-6 at one point, and then they go on to win 7 of the last 10 games, and they make the playoffs, and then their pick is the one that's going to be the later one in the first round, not the Colts, the Colts who traded for supposed franchise quarterback Carson Wentz. The Colts pick is probably going to be the second pick in the first round, which is just absolutely nuts. Doc Falcon says, who are the Eagles playing this week? or next week. They're either going to play the Bucs or they're going to play the Los Angeles Rams. They're going to play the Bucs or they're going to play the Los Angeles Rams. It really depends on what happens the rest of the way today. So if the Rams go on to win today's game and the Saints go on to win today's game against the Falcons, then the Eagles will be the 6th seed and they will face the Bucs in the third. They will face the Bucs in the first round. And if neither of those things happen, then the Eagles will remain the 7th seed and they will face the Los Angeles Rams. So I believe that's how I believe that's how it's going. I believe that's how it's going. Honestly, the NFC playoff picture is so confusing at this point. Because I believe that the Cardinals even still have a shot at taking that 2nd spot away from the Rams. Let's get back to those scores. Los Angeles Rams have the ball with 7 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter. And Seattle has tied it up in Arizona, against Arizona, 24-24. You know what's really surprising to me is the Miami Dolphins kicking the Patriots' butt right now, 24-10. I just cannot get over the fact that the Indianapolis Colts lost the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just cannot get over it. I just cannot get over it. How did the rookie do in this game? Oh, Carson was 17 for 29 and 185 and a touchdown. Trevor Lawrence was 23 for 32 for 223 and 2 touchdowns. Not bad. Not bad. Toxic Falcon says, I missed what you said for the Eagles next game. So if the Saints continue to beat the Falcons today, and then the Rams go on and continue to win today, then the Eagles will get the 6th seed, and then they will face the Buccaneers, who will be the 3rd seed in the first round of the playoffs. If neither of those things happen, the Eagles will then remain the 7th seed, and they will face the Los Angeles Rams, from what I understand. I believe, it's crazy. The NFC playoff picture is so out of whack this year. It's hard to keep up with what's going on. But it's either going to be the Rams or the Buccaneers. We can basically say that. Or I think the Cardinals still have a shot at the second seed. Not entirely sure. If the Rams lose and the Cardinals win, which they do have it tied up with Seattle right now, then they might be able to take the 2nd seed back from the Rams. Not entirely sure on that one. Toxic Falcons. Hillary Cummings, hello, welcome to the chat. Happy Sunday. Toxic Falcon says, so wouldn't you want the 7th seed? It's a good question. That's my thing. That's what I asked you earlier is who do you think would be the better matchup for the Philadelphia Eagles in the first round? Tom Brady and the Buccaneers or the Los Angeles Rams? Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, they're a little bit beaten up. Los Angeles Rams, they have all these weapons, but they have Matthew Stafford, who is turnover prone. So, Toxic Falcon says, if the 49ers win, the Saints are out. Yeah, if the 49ers win, the Saints are out. The Saints are out if the 49ers win. But Los Angeles has the ball and they're driving, so I mean, the Los Angeles Rams have controlled the game pretty much throughout. have pretty much controlled the game throughout. So I expect them to get a late touchdown here. And as far as your question is concerned, I'm not sure. I'm not sure who I'd want to play in the first round of the playoffs. Between who I'd want to play more, I guess I should say. I think this defense is. I think we're gonna be a shocker. I think we're gonna be a surprise team. I think we're gonna shock some people. Whether we win in the first round or not, or move past the first round or not, I think we're going to put up a really big fight. Talks Falcon says Tom is dangerous in the playoffs, so Rams. Agreed. But remember what happened last year with the Buccaneers. The Washington football team almost beat Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, with Taylor Heineke, so and if Jalen Hurts gets into that situation, I trust Jalen Hurts to bring that team back. I trust Jalen Hurts to bring that team back more than I do Taylor Heineke. So there's that. Hillary says Cardinals and Seahawks tied right now. Yes, they are. And Seattle has the ball at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And the Rams seem to be just running out the clock here. Or trying to. The Toxic Falcons, what do you think? Toxic Falcon says, well, think about it. You barely lost the Bucs. Yeah, we got some late late fourth quarter points, against that team. But here's the thing, and this is kind of where this conversation goes most of the time, is Tom Brady had control of that game, all throughout. We were a different team, at that point in time. Like we weren't the running team that we were at that point in time of the season. Same thing against Kansas City. Actually Jalen Hurts had a pretty good game against Kansas City, and we were doing well against Kansas City until Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill broke it open in the third quarter. So there's a lot of things like that people just don't remember. We played actually pretty well against Kansas City, and same thing against the Buccaneers. But I'm pretty sure, Tom pretty much had control of that game throughout. So that's the only reason why I wouldn't want to face Tom. He's like, I don't know how this defense would fool Tom, or if this defense is even capable of fooling Tom Brady. Just don't. It is a different defense. There are different things that we do now. Like we weren't doing the 5 down. We weren't doing the 5 down on the line at that point in time of the season to bring pressure. We weren't doing the 3-3 defense and bringing pressure with our linebackers. We weren't doing that. We weren't blitzing we weren't doing specific blitzes with our slot cornerback. Avonte Maddox was playing pretty well, but he's playing even better now. So all of the above, all of those things. Toxic Falcon says Tom is scary. Tom's always been scary. Tom has always been scary. Tom is the greatest of all time. Tom is the GOAT. Hands down. Regardless of whether or not we want to like him or hate him, love him or hate him, Tom is the dude. Tom is the dude. But thing is like they're pretty thin. They're pretty thin. You know, they might get Leonard Fournette back for the playoffs. They might not for the first week. Reports are that they will. So we'll see. We'll see. But I trust this Eagles. I trust the Eagles rush defense. I trust the Eagles rush defense to get to Tom or to get to Leonard Fournette. So that addition doesn't really scare me. Obviously, I have a ton of admiration for Leonard Fournette. He's a really great running back. But I trust our defense to stop him. The thing is that he is an extra guy. He is an extra guy to take pressure off of Tom. And any time that you can give Tom Brady balance with a running game, it just makes Tom all the more dangerous. So, Talks Falcons says, if you do play the Bucs, how would you be able to beat them or the Rams? If we play the Bucs, we would have to keep. We would the recipe for success, obviously in the playoffs, is running the ball, run the ball. Control time of possession. Control time of possession. That is what the Philadelphia Eagles have done. That's what they've been successful at in the second half of this season. That's why they're in the playoffs right now. That's how you would beat Tom Brady. You also got to put pressure on Tom. And that's where I think that the five down on the defensive line would be perfect for beating Tom. I think that would really get at Tom. So, but if you bring blitzers, then Tom's going to take advantage of that all day long. So it's hard to do isolative blitzes on Tom Brady. Hillary says Seahawks 31-24. Seahawks over the Cardinals 31-24. Yeah, this just seems like another loss in the bag for the Cardinals. It looks like it's going to be, unless they can bring it back. I mean, they do have an entire quarter to go, so we'll just have to see. We will just have to see. Oh, lo and behold, I was right. The Los Angeles Rams did score a late fourth quarter touchdown, making it 24-17 over the San Francisco 49ers. The Rams are probably going to win this game. Is Jimmy G playing? I don't think Jimmy G is playing in this game. I don't think the Jimmy G is playing in this game. But how would I beat the Rams? Same thing. Honestly, Toxic Falcons, same thing. Control time of possession. I would run them off the field. So apparently they are a defense that is susceptible against the run, regardless of having Aaron Donald. They are susceptible against the run. I would be really worried about Jalen throwing to Jalen Ramsey's side. But then again, I think we're going to see a different version of Jalen Hurts in the playoffs. I really do. I think we're going to see championship level Jalen. He's always brought that to, whether it be to Alabama or to Oklahoma, and to the Eagles. I think we're going to see a magnified, more electric version of Jalen Hurts in this playoffs. Whether it's going to result in wins, I think it's going to be pretty exciting to watch. But to beat the Rams, again, I would do what we do best: run the ball. And I think the chances of us having both Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard in this game next week are going to be pretty high. So I think we're going to have both players. Ready to go. And obviously everybody's going to play. There's I don't see any which way around it. I think starters would have played in the Dallas game if they had to. But is Jimmy G playing? Let's get back to that. Is Jimmy G playing? I don't think he is playing. Okay. Jimmy G is just playing god awful. Jimmy G is 15 for 22, 183 yards and 2 interceptions. Yeah, not the best day in the world that you want to have. That's another reason why I've never trusted Jimmy G. Is he just throws interceptions at the worst times in the worst games and shabby dabby doo. You know, you don't want to throw interceptions in a game where in a game where your season depends on it. So Matthew Stafford is 19 for 27, 217, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. So I'm still not too worried. Still not too terribly worried about the Rams, honestly. I think that they're going to put up a fight, but I think that they're going to lose at some point in the playoffs before the big game, as Sean McVay always does, with the exception of the 1 year that they got to the Super Bowl. But I'm not worried. They're beatable. The Rams are beatable. So, I'm not worried about them. Honestly, Toxic Falcons, I'll say this. I think the Eagles will put up a fight against whoever they play in the first round. I'll say that. You know, like if it's the Cardinals, I think the Eagles will be able to put up a fight. Because that's the recipe for success in the playoffs, is a successful running game and a defense that's playing above average. And we have both of those things. We have a defense that's playing above average, and we have a successful running game. So, but Toxic Falcons, what do you think that they're going to do with Kyle Shanahan? You think the Falcons are going to keep Kyle Shanahan as their head coach? I think it would be smart for them to do that. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers just scored again, making it 31-17 against the Carolina Panthers. Tom Brady is 28 for 36 for 319 yards and 3 touchdowns today. Man, he just keeps doing it, doesn't he? He just keeps doing it. See, as long as Tom has Gronk, and he does still, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I mean, he's tough without Gronk, so it don't even matter. Don't even matter. But it looks like we have hit the 38 mark, almost the 40 mark. So just to wrap it up with this, go back to this, guys. Obviously, Carson Wentz and the Indianapolis Colts did choke their season away. Just wanted to reiterate that real quick. So that means a better first-round draft pick for the Philadelphia Eagles, which after next week, after next week's game, guys, we're probably going to start getting into the draft a lot, regardless of whether or not the Eagles win or lose. I've already started my draft prospect search and things of that nature. So it's going to come in. It's going to come in full. It's going to come in full throttle once we hit the end of the season. Once the Eagles season actually ends. And so because Carson Wentz and the Indianapolis Colts choked their season away today, losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Eagles will have at worst the 18th pick in the first round from the Colts, making it 3 first-round picks for the Eagles. My personal opinion is Here's my thing. I'll just go out and say this right now, is I think that Obejo, however you say his name, the edge rusher out of Michigan, and then you go Devin Lloyd with the second first round pick, and then if you have Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, or Chris Olave, one of those Ohio State wide receivers still on the board with your third first round pick. I mean, I just don't understand how you would. So there's a few things that I would do. And obviously we're going to continue to talk about this. We're going to get into this as the days and the weeks go on. If Linderbaum, the center, falls to the Eagles' first round pick, or the first pick in the first round, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to pass him up. And I know it's not going to be the sexy pick. I personally believe Jason Kelsey's going to come back for another year. So it's not going to be a pick for the now. It's going to be a pick for the future. But it's an offensive lineman. It's not going to be a sexy pick. Obviously Eagles fans and everybody knows, even including myself, that the Eagles should go defense. But there's a few scenarios that I think should omit them from going that route. One is if Linderbaum falls to the Eagles' first round pick. That's one. The other is if wide receiver Chris Olave or wide receiver Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State fall to the Eagles' third first round pick those are two situations that for me would be really, really hard to pass up. Another offensive player that I think would be really hard for the Philadelphia Eagles to pass up if he falls to the Eagles' first round pick is wide receiver out of Alabama, Jameson Williams. Another really tough decision there, but I think if the Eagles go edge rusher and then they go linebacker and then they go, but if none of those things happen, they go edge rusher, linebacker, cornerback, and I'm talking about whether it be Obejo out of Michigan or somebody else along those lines, and then linebacker Devin Lloyd or Nakobe Dean, linebacker Devin Lloyd out of Utah or linebacker Nakobe Dean out of Georgia, with their second first round pick. That would be phenomenal for me. And then maybe with the third round pick, they go cornerback or they go another defensive lineman. I don't know. But we'll continue to talk about that, and we're definitely going to get into it as the days and the weeks go on here, because we're embarking on that time where it's going to be nothing but draft season, baby. Nothing but draft season and free agency season and looking to improve the team season. But hey, guys, I appreciate you guys jumping on here with me. Happy Sunday to you all. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. Hillary and Toxic Falcons, thank you so much for joining in the DB Talking Now podcast. Stay safe, stay healthy, one love, and go Birds, baby.